Recording in
Hey
progress.
everybody, welcome to Bonus Stuff. We just got done reviewing Shoguns, episode 2, 3, and 4. Go check that out. Go check that review out and see what we thought. So, Bonus Stuff, this week's topic, I couldn't really find something to relate to Shogun, so there was a little article I saw I thought was pretty cool. But before we get to that, we're going to share this. So this is the Strong National Museum of Play. And every year they kind of, well, not every year, but since 2020, they kind of induct video games into the Hall of Fame. So they recently just announced the next games that are nominated to enter their little Hall of Fame. So before we get to those nominations, let's look at some of the ones that have already been inducted. So, of course, Centipede, the classic arcade game. Very fun, very shooting centipedes. We got King's Quest. We got Minecraft, of course. And Donkey Kong, everyone's other favorite arcade game, I guess. Animal Crossing is in the Hall of Fame. Street Fighter 2. And Flight Simulator, the game that's freaking hard to play.
Oh, yeah. I remember my computer crashing multiple times because I tried to play that.
I like these pictures they have of like that Animal Crossing one is like half the cover, but it's not quite even. It's like tilted slightly up into the corner.
I like that Halo Combat Evolved one is basically a Facebook ad.
There you
go. Facebook Marketplace ad. Like barely opened a copy of Halo Combat Evolved.
StarCraft's in there. Pokemon Red and Green in the Hall of Fame.
Why red and green, not red and blue?
Because in Japan it's red and green.
Oh. Yeah. Thank you, Jared.
I was playing Ruby the other day.
Oh, Pokemon Ruby.
Mm-hmm. I was getting my tires fixed, and I'm like, well, might as well play it.
John Madden Football. Final Fantasy VII's in there.
Heck
Where in the world
How did she get in the Hall of Fame?
She's everywhere. Dude.
Because, Jared, when you were at school and you had the floppy disk, you'd always pop in where in the world is
Or is
Carmen
that the answer to the question? Where is Carmen Sandiego? She's in the Hall of Fame.
She's in the Hall of Fame.
Figured it out.
What else we got? We got Space War, which was considered the first video game. Tomb Raider's in there.
Is that the one? I don't know if I played that or not.
Colossal Cave Adventure. Looks like a cassette game.
Looks like
it's even older than me.
Game.
Yeah. Microsoft Solitaire, because of course we all like the space.
No one has not played that.
It's true.
We've always used that deck too.
The creepy castle.
Mm-hmm. Mortal Kombat, Super Mario Kart.
Just a castle at night, Thomas. That has been creepy. Maybe the day
creeping him out.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's freaking me out,
It's
Michael.
dark at nighttime. They didn't have electricity. God.
I'm scared, Michael.
Bejeweled. How did Bejeweled get in there? The Oregon Trail, of course, another one of those edutainment games.
I know that name, but I don't know anything about it.
When you freak your parents out and like, what's dysentery?
Have you never played the Oregon Trail?
Mm-mm.
What?
I play it for
don't even know the name of it.
We should do that.
We should play it for bonus stuff one of these weeks.
I played that when I was at daycare, like when I was like 6 or 5, something like that.
The Legend of Zelda.
The first one?
Mm-hmm.
First one. Grand Theft Auto 3. Pong.
Pong.
My dad's favorite game.
The game played on every device ever.
Known to men.
And not known.
Yeah, aliens.
Not known yet.
World of Warcraft.
Boo.
All right, now these are really favorite marketplace stuff. Look at them on stands and everything.
Even that Pac-Man. Super Mario, of course. Tetris.
Heck yeah, dude.
Jared.
Sonic, Tetris. God.
Space Invaders. The Sims.
Hell yeah.
Dance Dance Revolution.
Nice.
The cartridge Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the box.
Mrs. Pac-Man.
What is the Barbie thing?
Barbie fashion designers.
What is that? Why is it here?
What? It was inducted last year from 1996. Barbie CD-ROM fashion design. That can't be that good to put in the Hall of Fame.
That's a DEI inclusion. Get it out of here.
What is happening?
It can't be that good. Michael, go play it.
You may read the description. At a time when most games were marketed towards male players, that Barbie fashion designer proved that a game designed for girls could succeed. Did it?
Hold on.
So
Never heard of
Jackson would be excited to know Civilization's in there. So
He would.
Sid Meier's Civilization.
Computer space. Look at that giant Atari.
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports. The injuries that came with it.
It's all
And
the
the-
broken TVs.
Hey, come on, The Last of Us. Isn't that a little too modern? So let's check out.
Barbie
I mean,
is in the
yeah,
Hall of Fame,
Barbie's
Joseph.
in-
They have no standards here.
They have no standards.
It's all political now.
Barbie.
You know what you have to do to get a game into the Hall of Fame?
Barbie fashion designer CD-ROM is on Amazon for $16.
Are you gonna play it?
No, it has 2.5 stars.
I don't.
Who's
I don't even
rating
think
this
he
on
has a
Amazon
CD.
right now.
I don't even think he has a CD drive anymore.
I have a USB CD drive. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Whoa.
Wow, fancy.
Classy. It has a 2.5 stars.
It's 2.5
and it's in
stars.
the Hall of Fame.
Someone rated that on Amazon.
They saw the Hall of Fame list. They're like, no, this cannot go unanswered.
Barbie must be in.
So let's go and see
God.
our nominees for this year.
Oh man.
So we got Asteroids, another classic arcade game. We got Elite. I've never even heard of that game. Guitar Hero.
Yeah, inducted.
Metroid. I thought there was others. Oh yeah.
All finalists.
Finalists.
It's just like this community voted on. Is that how Barbie got in?
Oh, Mist. Hell
Mist.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Neopets.
Dang.
Wow.
I haven't seen one of those in a minute.
Resident
Ooh.
Evil.
That's
Ooh.
not in there?
Sim City. This is
I'm
nominated.
sorry. Barbie's in there, but not Resident Evil.
Tony Hawk.
Oh, Tony Hawk.
Barbie. Are you kidding me?
Ooh.
Like that's
Ultima. You
Get
don't know Jack?
Get Jack's Box Party Pack.
I remember
out of here.
seeing
I
that.
hate that game. Everyone
You
loves
hate
it. It annoys me so much.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
It's trivia.
Yeah, no, it's like a bunch of different little games they do. It's like, hey, write a word. It's like Mad Lib junk and everything. I don't know. It's like party games where you put it on the TV and everyone gets on their phones and does their answers. I don't know. I get
Well,
so
we
bored.
can play that at Friendsgiving.
Let's do the Barbie game instead of Friendsgiving.
Toki Miki Memorial. I have heard of
No
that
idea what that
game.
is.
There is a
It's-
grery 5-hour video I can send you guys on that game.
Oh,
I'm
okay. It's a
watching
dating
5-hour
sim.
video.
Actually, it's 6 hours.
God.
My God. Send
Do
it.
it.
It's a
Send
great
it.
video.
Send it, Jared.
I'll
Send it.
send it. It's a great video, guys.
Thomas, no. I'll give you like
Okay.
30 other videos.
Because I'm a glutton for video essays.
So let's see. If we all had a vote for this Hall of Fame, which of these nominees are we putting in there?
I'd probably do
We
Resident
only get
Evil.
one?
You only get one.
Man.
I would go with Metroid, probably, even though I'm not the biggest Metroid. It was really hard for me when I was a little kid, but I respect it.
Honestly, Guitar Hero.
That's kind of where I'm at, honestly. It's like Resident Evil or Guitar Hero or Tony Hawk. They're like, I feel like the most important. Like, Metroid's also
Well,
extremely important.
Well, Asteroids too, though.
I don't know anything about that.
That game
It's
kind of
like a
sucks,
little
though.
ship. Yeah,
I
It
had,
sucks
I
so
had,
much.
I had fun.
it's not the funnest arcade game, but
Neither is Donkey Kong, and that's in the Hall of
I
Fame.
feel like
The best
Metroid should
ones-
probably be because it has the most influence. Like Guitar Hero was so big and important, but it didn't really go to anything else but Guitar Hero.
and it was just that era. Once that was
Yeah.
over, it was
But
pretty much
Metroid
over.
is just like bled into everything, man. Every single type of game does Metroid stuff.
And then Resident Evil, of course.
Yeah, that's another one so important too. But I feel like Metroid's got to take it.
Knowing this Hall of Fame, Neopets is a sure.
That's what I'm so confused about is how have they voted in all those other games before Metroid, Resident Evil, Guitar Hero, or Tony Hawk? Like there are plenty of games that those should take the place of.
I even Miss is
I don't know
huge.
how
Yeah,
they do it. I don't know how
Miss
they're
Yeah.
is-
breaking
Um,
these down.
I'm
You know
guessing
what?
they're just like, we don't want to put all the old stuff in right away, so it's just
Saving it for.
I'll make this easy. Neopets.
Yeah, that's true too.
what?
Grandma knows about Neopets.
I never played it.
I don't
didn't
know
either.
what Neopets is. It's online world,
Really?
and it has toys, I guess.
Mhm.
I think I've never seen one of those things, and I always thought it was cool because it was tiny, but I didn't never do anything with it.
I love
Think-
SimCity, but I don't think it should go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's just a
Maybe
hall
if
of
it was
depression.
SimCity 2000. Hall of Depression.
I can't play Sims for more than a day without being depressed in a really big way.
What am I doing with my life?
Dang,
Why
in a
am I
big
living
way.
these people's lives just to do nothing?
You loved my Sims.
Oh, the weird
True.
one on Wii.
Yeah.
I didn't play that
Man.
one very much, honestly. But the DS one though with Ratman.
Ratman.
Ratman. No, my Sims. You had
Legend of
jobs on that one.
Ratman.
That one had a little more purpose than the other ones. My Sims.
I was an astronaut, man.
I just built houses. That's all I did. Mine.
You were an astronaut.
I was.
What happened?
I don't know, man.
Did they give you a house and a salary and a
No,
wife?
I didn't. I was an astronaut, but I only made $25,000 a year.
It's like when you play life
More of a part-time gig.
and you got like astronaut, but they only give you like 30,000
Yeah.
a year.
Hey, man, in life, the cop is the best.
Because you
career
get
path.
if someone gets a 10, you get like
You get-
$100.
You get
or whatever.
$100, yeah.
You guys know
Speeding
more, too
ticket.
much about life.
we should play life. That's another game we should play
That,
on
well,
this.
it's either that or Monopoly.
Dude.
We're gonna end up shouting at
God.
each other.
There was one time where my car was just, I had too many children. Like,
Yeah.
I'd have a separate car full of children.
Wear a condom, Jesus, Jared.
She had a convoy going on.
Call contraceptives, Jared. Jeez.
All right, so
Oh, man.
Me and my 12 kids, I had a show on TLC.
he's going back to school, night school,
Oh my
with
gosh.
his 12 children.
Oh, I
Oh.
hated that when you were like a doctor and you had to get a new profession and you get like worker or something like that.
Construction worker. Ooh.
Yeah. All right.
I have a doctorate, dang it.
All right, so that was our main topic. A little side topic, keeping with video games. So the classic Battlefronts came out. Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2.
Oh,
We remember
I was
playing
thinking
those.
Battleship. Sorry.
Those were fun times. Remember that, Jared?
Those are really fun.
Well, Aspire did a remaster, I guess you would call them, and it kind of failed.
Hmm.
At one point when they first released it, they only had like 3 servers and could only like fit 200 people. on.
What'd you
And it-
expect?
That's it?
Yeah. So no one could play it, and it was $35. They charged $35 for it, and it turned out to be a giant disaster. There's some theories out there that they did this on purpose just to make modern Star Wars games look better than the older stuff. But yeah, so not a good look for Battlefront. But
Yeah.
What was your favorite battle? What was your favorite battle mode? Mine was Galaxy Conquest, where you had to run like your own campaign and conquer.
I don't remember the names of any of them, but yeah, I like that one. I'll pick that one too.
remember that map on Bespin with the bridge? I was watching that. It's just like so hard to get across that stupid bridge.
I remember getting so angry. I think it was with Jared. He got what's the double pod one from Bespin?
Oh, the cloud car.
Cloud
Yeah, the
car.
cloud car. Yeah, so I was like running across the bridge, and he like kamikazes into
Oh,
the
I did
bridge,
that so much back in the day.
into the bridge with me on it. And he's like, ha ha, bam, dies, kills me, throws me off the bridge. And I like end up like screaming at him. So
Yeah, we
One
used
of my
to play that at
favorite
times.
moments was not Mos Eisley. What is it? The one outside of the town where it was like a Tuscan Raider village.
I was about to say
Yeah,
the,
on
I was about
top
to say
of a
the
hill.
Raider Village. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It was
forget
on
what they call
top of
that.
a hill. I had a speeder bike. I
Oh,
launched
yeah.
it off the hill, and it just goes into the village, and you just hear Tuscan Raiders go, "Ah!" and I laughed.
We did laugh. We had some fun times. We had that time where Like I was alone at a base and gonna be killed, and he like came up on a speeder and just like picked me up and drove away.
Man, I was so good with vehicles in that game.
I don't understand how the new ones just didn't capture the magic or something because they weren't very different.
Did you see? Oh, the new games. I thought you meant the one that just released. I was like, did you watch gameplay of it? 'Cause,
No, I didn't.
dude, it's buggy as heck, man. They're just like their bodies doing this and stuff all over the place. Nothing works. It's like
The best mode is Space Vietnam with the Ewoks. So
Dude, yeah, with like a sniper and you're just out in the forest.
That is
Like-
fun.
it's like they're in the trees.
Oh man, good times. What happened with those newer ones?
I know.
It's weird because everything's kind of the same.
That's one series you didn't have to change anything. It would have been perfect.
well, Alex, like he talked about because he played it for a while and he's like, this is so fun. And I was like, it just feels bad. And then he went and played like
Mhm.
actual shooters and stuff. Came back, he was like, oh yeah, this feels like garbage. It's like it's just
Yeah.
not fun to play.
Well, I remember Battlefield 2 and the main campaign. I loved it because you got to end the Clone Wars and then you got to fight as the Imperial troops later on.
Yeah,
The
I
same
remember
guys, which was awesome.
Mhm.
And I remember being like super dark. It's like, we all were quiet when we pulled up to the Jedi Temple. Nobody talked. We knew what we had to do. And we did it. I'm like, 13 years old. Like, are we going to kill them all?
Nice. All right, so let's get into our homework for these weeks. Michael,
I thought we were going to
Time
talk
to-
about Sir Christian.
not yet. Time to take us back to the stars, Michael.
Back
Stupid.
to the stars and the enterprise of Trekkie people with sweaters and little dresses that are way too short. They're very low cut. I was noticing that this time. I was like, that woman's dress.
Dude,
is,
I was noticing
her
that.
cheeks are barely covered.
You
in
know
this
what's weird,
episode.
Michael?
Yeah.
That's Gene Roddenberry's wife,
Which one?
the blonde one.
Oh,
Nurse
really?
Chapel.
Really? Yeah. He wanted her in the tiny dress. But so this time we got the episode called "What Little Girls Are Made Of" or something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Something like that. Yeah, very strange title. Threw me out first, but you get what it is later on. They get information of a scientist person man that's been on a planet, and this lady on their ship's like, hey, that's my husband. Or no, fiance, not husband, apologies. And we're gonna go help him out because he's been there for 5 years. They went on a mission. We're gonna go, make whoopee on the planet or something. I don't know.
That's insane. They were just engaged and she just held on for five years.
I mean,
That's
it's kind of
well,
like
that-
they have their
Go
own
ahead.
plans. Like he's like, I'm gonna take this for 5 years. You're gonna do the enterprise for 5 years. Then we'll live our life happily together after we have our adventures. Kind of makes sense.
well,
you know?
that's
Yeah, it's
That's-
devotion,
that's-
Jared.
something I've noticed, like in the old Star Trek. They're like, death is kind of a uncertainty in this time right now. Like, oh, what happened to them? Well, we don't know. They disappeared for 20 years, something like that. It's like, what?
And then he's back.
He's back.
So we get to our planet, and they get there, and the scientist man, don't remember his name at all. He's like, will you come down alone? Because there's sensitive information that I can only tell you. We cannot share with the world yet. We need to figure out what's going on. So he's like, yeah,
I did like when they were scanning the planet and she's like, I've scanned it 3 times. There's no one down there.
And he's like, oh, hey guys, I'm here. You want to come down? But he's like, I'm not coming alone. I'm bringing your hubby lady. And he's like, oh my God, I love her. And she's like, I love you too. I miss you. And they go back down to the land. But when they get there, he's supposed to meet them, but he's not there. And it is another of rock square, like, I don't know why do all these alien places have perfectly square hallway door things made out of rock? I don't know. I kind of appreciate it though. But we do get off the ship though, so I like that. So Kirk has I guess Scotty does beam him down, doesn't he? The 2 more of his security people.
Not in this episode, though. It's a different dude.
Hey, he just keeps
It
talking to
wasn't
Spock.
Scott.
He's like, Spock, will you have someone send down security people? So he send two security people down. One's like Mitchell or something like that. Can't remember his name. But Mitchell goes off on a cliff. But that's in a minute. They go down and they're looking for the people, and they run into the doctor man's assistant, but he's supposed to know the wife, but he doesn't recognize her at all. And Kirk's like, yo, what, you know this guy? And she's like, I do, but he's acting like he doesn't know me. Well, there's some beef going on. Someone's been gossiping. And
Dude,
so,
I love Michael's Kirk. Yo, bro, you know what's going on?
What's happening? But while they're talking to this guy, screaming from Mitchell behind them, he goes off. Mikhail, I can't remember. He goes off down the cliff. They run back. They're like, what the heck happened? And he's like, must have slipped. It's a slippery part. The cliff probably gave way. He slipped and died. It's like
It happens.
So Kirk's like, send. He's like, this is fishy. But anyway, they end up running into the guy. Yeah, they find the doctor guy, but then a big giant bald man comes out of a hallway and goes to the other security guard who he left to sit there, and he grabs him by the face and he's dead. But you don't find out that led up to later. But anyway, they find the doctor guy. The doctor guy starts giving them info on he's found androids and he can make people and make androids of people, and it's the whole thing of like, we're gonna make people live forever, we're gonna transfer their consciousness, brain, soul, whatever you want to call it, Captain Kirk, and we're gonna live forever. And Kirk's like, wow, you've lost your mind. But he does bring out a very attractive woman in little clothing. And she's like, hey, Kirk, kiss me, because he told me to. And they just happened several times. He keeps telling her to kiss him and then tells him to kiss her. And then it gets a little weird, but I don't think Kirk was complaining.
I do like when they first get there and he's like, oh, I've missed you. I love you so much. And then she walks out and everyone's like, oh, you didn't miss her that much.
But I do like where they go with this episode, and they kind of like, or they do a couple cool things. Well, so leading on with the story, he wants to basically take this android stuff to a colony without reporting it and start creating androids off of a colony somewhere remote. And Kirk's like, that's a really bad idea. You're getting people, like, what happened to the people before? Like, where'd this android come from? Blah, 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 blah. You get the backstory of that giant man killed everyone because he started seeing them as, impure or whatever, not perfect things, infallible, emotional beings. There you go. Not infallible, fallible, because infallible is infallible. Anyway, so we get to the point where he's like, all right, well, we're going to prove to you what I can do. And so for some reason, Kirk just seems to go along with this. There was no struggle or nothing. He's just butt naked in a spinning octagon. And they take this blob massive, like silly string without legs. For some reason, it's like at the knees cut off. And like, we're going to spin you really, really, really freaking fast and you're going to become Kirk. But I did like the little bit where he's like, I can't remember exactly what the doctor said, but he's like, they take on your mind and emotions and everything. And so Kirk starts saying, Spock, you not multi-being, not gender.
You half-breed.
Half-breed, thank you. Half-breed something Wazahoozies. And I was like, it's kind of a fun little, like, he's planting into the guy's brain. Yeah, obviously it's coming, but I like that little like twist they threw in there. So the real Kirk gets out and he's like, we're going to use you. You're going to be the new Captain Kirk. And because that guy doesn't want to agree with us. And he goes up and Spock's like immediately fishy. That guy's weird. Send him back down. But then get a whole
because Kirk was racist to me.
Yeah, he called him a half-breed right to his face. It's like,
that was unusual.
Well, even Spock just went like,
so he tells them to get the security team on standby, but they go down and they start going ham on the androids. Well, he kills first Kirk does a couple of twisty tongue stuff, and he makes the big android remember very easily. Actually, he remembers that he killed all the people before, and that's why he was alone.
You should say persuade him, because twisty tongue stuff with Kirk could mean a lot of.
That's true. I mean, he might have. We didn't see that part of the scene. He might have been like, "Hey, Baldy, come here. Let me show you what's wrong with
I can kiss you too."
Okay, when Kirk picked up that stalactite, did it look like something?
We have to bring this scene up. I'm glad you.
Did it look like something else, or is that just me?
100%. Okay, it did. But also the fact that he's like, I have successfully evaded the giant man. I could go this way, but I know he's coming, so I'm just gonna assume I can rip a stalactite off the ceiling. and then he's holding something questionable, swings, immediately loses. But yeah, 100% looked like that.
Well, part of me is just like, of course it's Kirk. He has to pick up the phallic symbol.
Yeah, and he's just like,
this is my manhood.
Let me go. And of course he's butt naked in this one. He's gone further than shirtless or sleeveless.
He turned at a certain angle on that table. I was like, oh God, please.
He was getting close to it. He like had like a little split of the plastic thing. So his legs like went in, like he's like anyway. So androids start dropping.
My stalactite.
We lost. How did the oh yeah, because they get down in there and Kirk ends up shooting. For some reason, they tie him to the chair because they have a dinner. And then he angers the other Kirk son for some reason, whatever. And instead of like, he's got silverware, he's got a knife, spoon, plate, whatever you want, but he sits there and ties a string on the chair for 5 minutes. And the two androids here don't care that he's arms over here doing this for 5 minutes. And he decides to choke the man with the string instead of hold the knife to his throat or something. He's like, what are you doing? And then he gets him all the way to the door, pushes him, and then leaps to the table. I'm like, what is your strategy here, sir? I don't understand.
Dude, when Kirk was like firing that phaser at that one android, he did like a full-on Kirk action roll.
It was
like,
intense.
It was like
it was a whole dive spin thing. I just kind of liked that.
Like,
but
William Shatner was very nimble.
he was into it. So that was that android down. Then the other android dies because Kirk confuses him, then makes him remember that he killed his people, and then the old man kills him, and he's like, well, now you're just being exactly what you said you didn't want to be, blah, 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 blah. Then the other lady comes in, and she's like, somebody kiss me for heaven's sakes. And so she goes up, and then they end up blasting each other, and they're gone. So then they take the lady back up, and she's real sad that her hubby, her fiance of the past however many years they've been separated, is no longer, and she has to go find another 5-year engagement, and then they fly away. I actually really liked this episode, though. I did. It was
a good
enjoyable.
episode.
I like the twists and turns. I like the big giant guy. He had a very cool voice. And I like the aspects they were dealing with androids and living past life.
When I was watching it, I immediately texted Thomas. I was like, that android can slap and kiss me all she
Oh, no joke. I was like,
dude.
She came out and was like, excuse me.
There are several attractive women in Star Trek, but my jaw hit the floor. I was like,
Also,
damn.
It's like they get there, and this poor fiance, this
I know.
angel walks in, and she's like, "You made this woman?" He's like, "Yes, I did. Aren't you?" Pretty impressive, don't you agree?
Well,
don't worry, she can't love. Oh, I'm not worried about the.
I'm not worried about the loving part. But no, I texted Jared back immediately, like, Andrea can smack me anytime. Like,
yeah, no joke.
I was just like,
agreed. I agree.
Woo.
Yeah, that was our trek into the stars. Now let's go back in time
for Dragon Tales.
Dragon Tales, episode 7, Driftmark. So it's a good old-fashioned family get-together on House of the Dragon. So we have a funeral. And, funerals aren't that... Well, it sets it up, okay? We all know funerals are kind of a bummer. Everyone's kind of sad because Damon's wife has died. So they put her in a casket and they dump her at sea as the custom demand. The old hand is back on the scene. You can tell because he goes like this and he has a little hand connected to his shirt. And they're at the funeral. Everyone's out sad, but Damon, he's got to make a scene because he needs attention, man. He just needs that attention.
One of those guys.
He's the younger brother, so he starts laughing at the funeral. So then we go to the reception, or whatever you call the after funeral
the
thing.
potluck.
Yeah. And a little girl's playing with a spider. I don't know who this little. I have such a hard time keeping track of the kids.
They just keep coming too.
Yeah, there's so many kids. But this little girl's creeping out her brothers or cousin. I don't know, because she's playing with the spider. There's a cute little scene where the queen tells the prince to go hold the hands of the Damon's daughters because they're sad. So he like goes over there and he puts out his hand and they hold it. And it's very sweet. I was like, oh, that's so cute. So the prince is upset because that was his sister. There's tons of princes, but it's the prince with the white hair.
That doesn't narrow it down, Joseph.
The Valerian prince.
That doesn't narrow it down, Joseph.
To the princess.
That doesn't narrow it down, Joseph.
So he's super bummed because that was the sister he loved, and he's out there standing in the water, and Corliss sees him, and he's like, "Go get he tells the boyfriend, "Go get your boy toy down there, man." So he does, and then. The king sees Damon and he's like, "Hey, why don't you come home?" And he's like, "This is not my home anymore." And then they put the king and the kids to bed because it's their bedtime and they're all sleepy. they talk about Valerian ambition. So it's Corliss and his wife, and she's saying like, your ambitions have already always come before your family, and and he's like, I gotta leave a legacy, man. Blood isn't a legacy; it's a name. Name is a legacy. So they have that conversation. The princess, she hasn't seen her uncle in a long, long time, and she's grown up now, and she tells the uncle, you weren't there for me, man. I could really use your help. So naturally, they start making out, as they would do. uh, yeah, and they find a tent, and she makes out with her uncle.
They do a little more than make out, Joseph.
Well, yeah, use your imagination.
And then they had relations.
And then we get How to Train Your Dragon Part 3. So, what the dragonless son is, he's bummed. No one likes him. He's kind of a nerd. So he sees a dragon. It's the lady who just died. It's her dragon. It's kind of sad, and he's kind of sad, and he kind of like he goes up to it and he wants to touch it, but it's like, hey man, don't touch me. And says his ancient tongue at him, and he wins the dragon's trust, and he climbs up on the dragon, and they fly away, and he's like, yeehaw, this is fun. And it's pretty much How to Train Your Dragon. Michael was right about that.
I was sorry, Joseph. Don't worry.
Dang it! There's another episode.
There's more How to Train Your Dragon to come.
So yeah, he's feeling like a big man now, man, because he's got a dragon, and he sees all his cousins. He's like, I'm a big man, man. I got a dragon, and the girls are like, you stole our mom's dragon. And he's like, yeah, what about it? If she wants it, she can come get it, but it's fine now. So they start like smacking him, like punching him, and he starts punching them. He's punching girls. And then the other princes come and they're like, dude, we got to stand up for these girls. So they go attack, but they're kind of like little boys. So he's like beating them up. So it's like 4-on-1. And
Child brawl.
Yeah, it's a child brawl. And they're fighting these kids. And then someone draws a knife. And it's like, oh no, this got real. And it all ends up that the oldest, I don't know if it's the oldest, I think it's the oldest son, he like slashes the white-haired prince in the eye, man.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's real.
I think it was the youngest.
The youngest one?
Yeah.
Okay. So he slashes the kid in the eye, and the kid's like, ah. So yeah, and then the grown-ups, they go back to the grown-ups. I don't know why I have silence on here.
Other kids were like, don't cry. You're fine.
Don't tell mom.
Yeah, the king guard comes and they take him, and it's time for a big old family argument because you're like, your kid just cut out my kid's eye. And then she's like, your kid started it. So they're like fighting about whose fault is it.
Your kid's eye was in the way of his knife.
And they're like, why did you start this fight, young man? And he's like, they said that, or he said that we were not, or, we're not.
They're bastards.
Yeah, we're not our dad's dad. We're, and they're like, oh, the crowd was just like, oh. And the king's like, who said this? Who spoke these lies? And the oldest son's like, everyone knows it, man. And Sir Christian giggles. It was funny. It's a little giggle in there. So yeah, he says everyone knows this lie, and the king's like, oh, he's all offended, and he's like, we are family, man. And then the queen's like, hey, I want an eye for an eye, man. You took my son's eye, I want your son. So it's like, she's like, Sir Christian, go cut that guy's eye out. And he's like, whoa. He's like, I didn't sign up for this. And she's like, you are bound to me or whatever. I can't remember what she says. And he's like, as your protector, I'm not here to cut out kids' eyes. And so the queen is pissed, and she attacks, man. She's like, she grabs a knife, and she's like, I'm going to take that eye. I am going to take that eye. And so Sir Christian's they're going to try to hold her back, but then Damien Common blocks him, and they're all like, she's like almost there, but they're holding her back, and dang. And then she cuts the princess, the heir to the throne. So she cuts her, and everyone's like, "Oh," because she's got blood and it's spilling out on the ground. I mean, this is how family fights end up. Right?
It's just what's that show called again?
The Bear.
The Bear. Yeah, it's just the bear.
It's just the bear. It's
The
just
typical Christmas, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
So everyone gets kind of
7 fishes time again.
everyone gets kind of sad, and they go back to the rooms, and
Everyone gets kind of sad.
The queen talks to her dad, the hand, and she's like, "Oh, go ahead and let me have it." And he's like, "No, we play an ugly game," and he's like, "Now I know you're ready for it." And she's like surprised because he's like, "Now you are ready to be the queen." The prince finally shows up. The white-haired guy with the boyfriend, he finally shows up after all this, and he's like, "What did I miss?" And she's like, "Dude, where were you?" And he's like, "Well, I've been a bad husband. I am recommitted to you, babe." And she's like, "You know what? I don't think so." Everyone, the king and his family, they go home, and on the boat ride, the crutch man comes, and he offers
Crutch man cometh.
he offers to balance the scales, and she's like, maybe not right now, because last time you did that, you got some people killed. So, but pretty soon, I probably might need your help.
Oh my
People
god!
on fire, man. It's like, what are you gonna do now?
Yeah. The princess has a proposal. She's like, "Hey, uncle, marry me, and we'll be a strong ruling family." And he's like, "Well, there is one obstacle to us getting married. You are kind of already married." So he goes and he's like, "Hey, we got to get rid of this guy, this prince guy, if we want to get married." So he goes to the boyfriend and he's like, "Hey, I need a little, you can, there's a land over there. If you have a lot of money, it doesn't matter what your name is. You know what I mean?" And he's like, and he gives him some like 75 cents. And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" And he's like, "Well, I need some blood and I need some witnesses." And so there's this scene where the prince is like, he's him. I don't know. Is that his? I don't think that's his son. It's like his relative. But they're like coming down and they're in the room. And then the boyfriend shows up. He's like, "You never respected me." And he pulls out a sword. And the princess is like, "Yeah, I love sword fighting." So he pulls out a sword and then they start fighting.
And then the kid's eye comes out and you're like, "Oh, no, not again."
No, you see a fireplace. And then next, we see a body in the fireplace all burned up. And it's the prince guy, is it? Maybe. And so they get
when Joseph gets excited.
We get another marriage scene. So the uncle and the princess are gonna get married because they got rid of that obstacle. But surprise, they didn't really kill the guy. He just shaved his head and he ran off with his boyfriend to lands where they can be happy together. And that was the episode for this week. Pretty good. Not the strongest episode, I would say, but the scene with the family fighting, I always love that. So that was the best part of the episode. So I like that part. And then it does set up some stuff. So, it was good. It was good, not great. So that was House of the Dragon for this week. I only got 3 left, guys.
That's it.
Be sad. Well, then you can just start Game of Thrones.
I still have about how many?
I know you have a ton.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
We're only on the first season of the first series.
And there's
All right.
2 new series already in the works. I saw the other day.
I didn't have anything else. I just played like
Wow.
a dragon, and that's it.
Just being a dragon boy.
Yeah.
You're just surrounded by dragons, man.
I know, what the heck? And then Dragon's Dogma next time. So. All right, who
It
wants to go
waits.
next? Thomas, you want to tell us what you did?
Sure. Are you okay, Michael? No, you're not. I'm not gonna. Yeah, you're not. Yeah. So I did my book movie. I actually read Annihilation, and then I watched Annihilation. The movie with Natalie Portman and what is her name? She's
Not
in
Natalie Portman.
Hateful Eight, and uh, anyway, but yeah. So the book is very abstract with a lot of terms and descriptions, and even like the characters are only referred to by their titles or what they actually are, like biologists.
Professions, yeah.
Yeah, professions. Yeah. And in the book they have this thing where a lot of things are perceived differently. Like the main character, the biologist, they come across this thing and everybody sees a tower. Well, everybody sees a tunnel. Well, she sees a tower, and it doesn't really describe why she's seeing things differently, but throughout the book you understand what's changing in the environment. A very good book, very weird book that's not for everybody. I don't know a lot of people that would actually like this book. But
Confusing.
It's very confusing, actually. This is my third time attempting to read it, and I actually got through it this time. But the movie, I think, I think it does cosmic horror probably some of the best. It is a very odd movie, but the visual aesthetics of the whole thing are extremely well done, especially when it regards like the shimmer. Just everything is
That's the shiver.
yeah, it's the shiver, not the shimmer. Just the way that the way the whole world is just, it's similar, but it's not the same as ours. And so I like how it sets up. And even at the very end, when the psychologist says this isn't adaptation, it's annihilation, and it really hits home what this thing is doing. It's completely changing things. And so I love this movie. This movie is amazing, and I watched it in 4K on my big ass TV, and it's awesome. So
I really like the end of the movie.
I love the ending. And what's funny is that the ending of the book and the movie are similar, but the ending is very abstract. It's almost like a thought that doesn't really complete itself. She just keeps talking, and it just kind of ends. You're just like, what just happened? What happened?
It's like a music video or something.
Dude, the alien, the cloud, I love that scene. And I love the music in that scene too. It's so awesome.
Like a Beck video.
Yeah.
That bear though, that bear still creeps me out. The one that replicates human speech, or the crying out. It still kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Like so the android in Star Trek.
Yes, very much so. So weirdly enough, I started looking up, Alex Garland's stuff, and he's doing Civil War, that movie that's coming out. Not really 100% convinced on this one. I think it's going to be.
The critics love it, man.
Yeah. Well, okay, I was looking at reviews, and the reviews are the dumbest things I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, it's all like Sundance reviews.
Well, like, okay, this is a review. It says, feels like a cross between a Civil War movie and A24 movie. Yeah, duh. And then it says
what it is, right?
And it says Kristen Dunst equally channels Tara Reid and Faye Dunaway. What does that even mean? What does that mean?
Tara Reid, like in Sharknado?
As in Sharknado and American Pie, man.
What?
That's an actual review from Letterboxd. Like
Michael, you got to stop these reviews, man.
No, I'm sorry, but I keep reading these reviews.
I don't trust the reviewers yet.
I don't at all.
Especially from Sundance.
Yeah.
When does it come out?
Next month.
Next month.
Yeah. And I just keep seeing the reviews for this. I'm just like, this is going to be either kind of cool or completely and total schlock. Like, yeah, but it's like Nick Offerman's Oscar campaign starts now. No. I'm just like,
wow.
I can't even see him having a big part in the movie because he's like the president.
No, I don't either. He's just on the TV. Yeah. And so I think that this thing is going to probably win some awards, but I think it's going to be super political and not worth it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think much people are going to see it.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to do well.
I think it's in bad taste, honestly, right now, especially how the country's divided and the fact that it's an Englishman writing about an American Civil War. I'm just like, okay, get over yourself, man. Come on.
California and Texas on the same team.
That's also the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Every time I see the trailer, I'm like,
Every time in my life. I'm sorry.
How did that happen?
It never would.
we came together, guys. We did it.
We honestly would be like, would you want to team up with us to fight the government? No, I'd rather just fight the government myself.
Did they like reanimate Ronald Reagan? And
I don't know. It's like that's the peace agreement. Is this Terminator 2 style like Ronald Reagan? I don't know. I thought that was the dumbest thing. And that is like, if you don't understand American politics, that right there, that definitely shows it. Yeah. So it's just, oh God, it's so stupid. And the reviews are just, they're so stupid. So I got onto a weird YouTube kick where I was watching this channel called MMA on Point. It's basically, they do deep dives of like mixed martial arts tactics and styles that have like progressed throughout the years, what works now, what used to work then, what doesn't work now, that kind of stuff. And for some reason I got onto Joe Rogan because, he's involved in MMA, and I watched a few of his episodes, and one of the newest ones was the Black Keys had their episode, and it was hilarious. Dan and Pat are some of the funniest people I've ever seen in my life. Weirdly enough, they talked about UFOs and weird stuff, and if it was aliens, I'm just like, it honestly reminded me of our Weird Stuff podcast. I'm just like, I swear to God, I'm listening to us right now. This is weird. They also mentioned a lot of the new album and how Beck is on it. The guy from Oasis, I forgot his name. He's on it, and they mentioned this weird genre of hip hop called Memphis cassette hip hop. And I listened to some of the stuff. It's like horror inspired. And honestly, it's like, I kind of want to send Jared some stuff because I'm like, this is exactly, I think, what he would like. It's very cool. And they also talked about the different types of presidential drug cocktails that they think that presidents had. They're like, what do you think Biden was on during his speech? And then they just went, and like Joe Rogan was like instantly like, I got this. I'm like, let me prescribe him. And so it was really funny. Let's see, what else did I do? Sorry, my list is rather long. I finished Avatar, The Last Airbender, the original series. It's great.
Jesus.
Well, I started it like 3 weeks ago.
I feel like
and I had
to it.
Not really. There's only 20 episodes. I'm sorry, not 20. There's only 13, 12, and 13, I think, episodes. It's not very long. Honestly, I think it's a perfect show, really. I get a good feeling every time I watch it, and I can't get enough of it. I'm every time I watch it, I'm incredibly impressed by it. So fantastic show. And then I started Legend of Korra.
Why?
Why?
Because I'd never watched it all the way through, and I'm like, okay, I'll try. And I watched the first season. What went wrong with this? It's the same people. What went wrong with this show? This is a terrible, terrible show.
It'd have to be a studio interference, right? Like that's the only thing that makes sense.
I don't know. I do not know. Every
so boring.
Every character is inconsistent and stupid. Nobody's likable except for Tenzin, who's J.K. Simmons' character. Everybody's stupid, and they had a really cool villain premise, and then he is immediately wasted. They got Steve Bloom to be a villain.
Damn.
I remember that.
He's awesome. And then in the last 3 episodes of the series, he's a total idiot. Like I'm like, this is literally the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I want to keep going, but I'm like, I don't want to keep going, but I'm kind of tempted just to see this through. But good. And I'm sorry. Korra is a terrible protagonist. She's horrible. Like I remember when the first like came out, people were like kind of iffy about it, like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this Avatar. The first line in the series of Korra is, "I'm the Avatar, deal with it." I'm just like, okay,
Dang.
that's not a cool thing to do to your fans, really. Don't turn on your fans, man.
What if you're not?
Boruto, the last in
Huh?
Boruto, the last Airbender.
That bad? Is it that bad?
It
Just
is
terrible.
Naruto's terrible.
Okay, so I got through. It depressed me. Like I watched the last like episode of the season. I'm like, I feel
And then the
terrible.
second one is immediate
The
trash.
second one is not
Yeah,
good.
no, second one's terrible.
Second one's-
The only ones I've watched is up to the third one when Henry Rollins comes in. I'm like, okay, kind of a cool villain. I'm liking this. But the second season, if I remember right, is the one where they do like the Dark Avatar one. Okay, I'm gonna say a gamer word. It's bad. It's so stupid. And anyway, so moving on from that, I watched a lot of Jared's favorite Irishman. Can you guess, Jared?
Super Eye Patch Wolf?
There you go.
I don't even know what you
My
just
favorite
said.
Irishman?
Favorite Irishman?
John?
John.
What was his last name?
I don't know. It's always John.
He said it once and I forgot.
God.
I watched the Garfield one, the
Oh
Riverdale.
my god, that one is so good.
It's so good. I watched the Riverdale one. I kind of want to watch Riverdale just
Oh,
for
God.
like the insanity of this show, because like I was watching like Eye Patch Wolf's like video. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a fever dream right now. Is this
You
actually
know Alex Myers, right? I
yes?
used to watch him. He did a whole thing on Riverdale.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
Huh. It just seems like it almost seems like Twin Peaks style of writing, where they kind of just made it up as they went along, but in like a CW like show. And so I'm kind of interested. I remember when it came out and I watched the first episode, I was like, this is trash. I hate this, because I loved the Archie comics like when I was a kid.
And it doesn't
But-
seem like the Sabrina remake where it was just like, oh god.
I remember us watching the first few episodes of that, and I was
That
like,
was
Jared,
torture, dude.
I'm like, Jared, this is trash. I don't want to watch anymore. Like, I can't get anymore. And then I also watched the Undertale one.
That was
Good God. Like, and then also the internet influencer one, the YouTuber one. That's a very interesting video.
I don't think I've
Like,
seen that one.
I think that's one of his longest ones. I think it's like over 2 hours. But it's very interesting from his perspective. He's like, I like to say how I became like internet famous, like YouTube famous. He's like, I can't tell you. Like it's just one of those things where you cast your net out. Oh, go ahead.
No, finish your thought. Sorry.
No, I mean, I'm pretty much
Okay.
done with that. But I have one more thing to say.
Watch the
about it.
one where he built his own PC. That is hilarious.
Does he have an existential crisis?
It was during COVID and it just everything went wrong.
I think it's funny though about how much he despises Garfield. And Garfield, that video is his most watched video ever.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the new Garfield trailer.
Oh Lord, they can't.
So
they
cute.
can't escape it, Jared. Never go away. So I watched a lot of Critical Drinker actually. Joseph's
I did
favorite-
watch your video.
Joseph's favorite Scotsman.
Mhm.
And his series on why modern movies suck. He's right. I mean, pretty much with every point. I can't get away from it. I'm just like, this is ouch. Like that. Yeah, this is exactly what's going on. Had some in like the She-Hulk one was hilarious. His Rings of Power one. I watched that one and Little Platoon's video, like his 3-hour analysis of it. It's they don't have a lot of good things. They don't have anything good to say about that. I should say. And then I watched the new comedy special, Randy Feltface. Do you guys know who that is?
Feltface.
Yeah, he's
his actual name.
He's a Muppet.
Well, he's
Blue's
a Muppet. Yeah, he's like his puppet.
Oh, I was
Purple.
Whose last?
He's this purple-
Feltface.
Well, he's this purple Australian puppet guy,
Mm.
and I've been watching him for years.
Stallions and puppets.
Tune
That's
in every so often.
dangerous combination.
It is. And I really like this special, and I had one part where I was making my dinner and I was balled up in the corner laughing. I couldn't stop. I had to like sit down because I was laughing so hard.
They were on
And
the kitchen floor.
on the kitchen floor. And I even had one part where I was drinking and I actually did a spit take into my sink. I was laughing that hard. There's this one joke, and I don't know if I can say it or not, but he's talking about he met this girl on a bus bench and she's like the perfect girl, like right out of an indie movie. He's like, I could see the camera rolling, the weird indie song playing. It's like she's wearing pink Converse because of course she is. She has like a weird hairstyle, like what is it, Starburst earrings, and then she's even has a pet porcupine. And she's like, "What's your name?" Felicity. He's like, "Of course it is. Felicity is the name, is the sound my heart makes when you go out." And it's like, she's like, "Do you want to hold my porcupine?" And he's like, "I didn't know whether to come or kill myself." So, it's so good. I really recommend you watch it. It's that one, and Randy writes a novel. It's
That's pretty good.
that one is like very deep, honestly, and it gets a little like depressing, but like it makes you feel things. It's by a puppet, by the way. It's just it's so absurd and funny, and I completely enjoyed it. I was laughing my ass off.
So I'm guessing she had a hedgehog because porcupines are huge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say porcupine?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. She had a hedgehog. The porcupine's name was Simone de Beauvoir. He's like, of course. Sorry, hedgehog.
I saw an Instagram where a guy was petting a porcupine.
Dude.
Or hedgehog.
No, it was a porcupine.
I'm confused.
There's this part with God, I almost said it. I almost said it. There's this part with the hedgehog. I was almost crying because I was laughing so hard. And Jared, you need to watch it. I remember
first one.
Well, I remember me and Jared watching this on the way back from like a really long trip because it was back when we were working AV, and I just set the thing on my phone on the dashboard and we just watched it while we drove, and it was hilarious. I really recommend it. It's called, I think, Randy Runs for Office, I believe. So it's hilarious. And then the last one I did is kind of a weird universe coincidence. I think it's very odd. I watched. It's this channel called Admin Results. He goes through like GunTuber type stuff, and he did a review on this light machine gun called an FN Mag. It's a very big machine gun. It's basically a BAR from World War II that they turned upside down, turned to a belt-fed magazine. Anyway, really cool video, but that's not why I bring it up. My buddy in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, was like sending like photos of where he's at, and on his lap is an FN Mag, the same gun that this guy reviewed. It's a brand new video. And I was like, "Is that an FN Mag?" He's like, "Yeah, how do you know that?" I'm like, so I sent him the video. He's like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Yeah, he just posted this like 2 hours ago." Like, so I was like, that's kind of hilarious, actually. So just a weird universal coincidence. Yeah, honestly, I was just like, well, it's a very unknown rifle because it's basically just used by the IDF, and so I was just like, "Is that an FN Mag?" He's like, "How the hell do you know that?" And I'm like, "Well," so anyway, that's all I got. Spring break was here, and I had tooth surgery, and it was not fun. So,
oh no.
Anyway.
And I had to fit in my bikini and
What?
You know, my job.
I had to meet up with James Franco.
Oh,
He's like, look at my
stuff.
Look at my stuff. So yeah,
God, I hate that movie. That movie sucks.
People
movie's-
love that movie, man.
That movie is written and directed by the same guy that wrote Kids. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
That movie's terrible. That movie's disgusting.
People think that
No,
it's like a
great.
work of
deep.
art.
It's
Yeah.
deep, Thomas.
No, it's not. It's disgusting. Like, I'm sorry. People are like, this is what real teenagers are like. I'm like, cool, burn them all. Like, this is why I don't like them.
Someone finally told me what the heck Poor Things was about, and I was like, that is pretty yucky. Yeah, I don't. That's some like, yeah, it's no wonder Natalie Portman's telling to get the kids out of Hollywood because that's some sicko stuff. But yep, Who wants to go next?
Oh, Natalie Portman's single now. So bye, guys.
Jared,
going?
you,
I can
you,
go.
me? Okay.
I'll start off with YouTube real fast. I mentioned him before, but he rarely posts nowadays. Is Pat Chennington? Talks about like indie music and stuff like that. He had one about the video is called "The Controversial Music Genre of Barber Beats." So what it is basically kind of like lo-fi kind of stuff, but it's really just samples from like shows or video games or something like that, with some like chill beats, and then there's usually cool artwork. And it's controversial because it's pretty much not made from the artists. They're just taking all kinds of stuff. So there's
Is
a
it
big
almost like
controversy.
is it almost like compilations of like but reworked, so it's not the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a big debate of like, is it legit? Is it not? Even most of the artists are like, yeah, it's just a hobby. It's not really like I'm not trying to make a genre.
Like
and then
Vaporwave or something.
Sort of. It's kind of like just it's not all synthy, I guess.
Yeah, they're just using samples.
Yeah.
Did you say vaporwave?
Yeah.
Okay. I love vaporwave.
And then I've been a huge book mood, I guess. Been listening to a lot of books. This happens like once every decade, but
every epoch.
yes. So I've been asking and looking for recommendations. Coworkers are recommending this nerd book about like guy gets isekai into like a WoW game, and I was like, nah, I'm not listening to that. So I watched a video by Jared Henderson, which, by the way, Jared, you spell your name right, and I like that.
Whatever, Jerry.
Not like the Starbucks people.
I know. He had a video, the 10 best science fiction books he's ever read. I usually read science fiction more than anything else, and I wanted a recommendation. But I like that his first entry was the Space Trilogy by C.S. Lewis, which not a lot of people talk about. And I really enjoyed that series. I think the second one was my favorite. But he has some good recommendations. I'm gonna butcher it. It's a Chinese author. The guy that wrote the Dark Forest. I have no idea how to say his name.
Three Body Problem.
Problem.
Yeah.
It's like G something like that.
It's like Sisu Liu or something.
Yeah, Sisu Liu or something.
Quick question: have you and Joseph read the Hyperion stuff?
The first one. I haven't read.
Okay, I'm trying to see if I want to get into them, but damn it,
the first one's really good.
Dan Simmons is like one of those writers who's like, oh, then you're like, oh, then you're like, oh,
yeah.
Oh.
I actually started one of his books yesterday. And I'm not a big Dan Simmons fan, but his premises are really good.
He has the coolest setups, but then you go through the book and you're just like,
I really like the Abominable though, but
Abominable's weird.
I really like that. I think that's his best one. But
okay,
I started his The Fifth Heart. So it's about Sherlock Holmes and Henry James, who wrote Turning of the Screw. And it's got it opens with a real good premise because like Sherlock Holmes is like, I get the feeling that I'm not a real person. So I was like, yeah. So it's like, wow, that's a good start. So I'm reading that.
Well, I just always thought that, or not always thought, but I thought that you guys liked him. So I wasn't sure if it was worth reading or not.
I've only read
4 of his books. Yeah.
I've only read the first one. I really liked it, but
yeah, The Terror. I read.
And then
I love The Terror, but sorry, go ahead.
And then Jared mentioned Gene Wolfe. Joseph gave me one of his books a while back.
Author.
I totally forgot. I only read half of it, so I might finish that one day.
Was that the one that's kind of like Adventure Time?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm just asking.
And then he had another video, philosophical science fiction, which I was like really interested in. Most of them I read, so I didn't. One was interesting. Children of Time he recommended, so I might give that a shot.
And
And then some more YouTube is the Dickie Dines show. So if you guys know a lot of Jared's today, Jared Dines, he's a YouTube musician kind of guy. He used to do like metal covers and stuff like that. He has a show with his friend, and they had a video called 10 Coolest Sounds Made by Metal Vocalist. And there was some cool stuff in there. There was just a really fun video. They're just bringing like these cool like growls, honestly, just weird noises that came from metal vocalist. And then they had another video called 10 songs from their childhood that are still bangers, and they were just going through old songs that they used to like. Jared always mentions POD like from his childhood because he was really into POD, Amberlin, and stuff like that.
Yes.
I've always liked POD. Everyone makes fun of them. I don't know why, but
Hey man, that's
easy to
one-
make fun of.
that's one of the reasons. Like me and you became friends was that band. So
and then books. I just started Dune Messiah since we just saw the second movie, so I decided to start that again, and I'm about halfway through. And then for music, Era has a new single out from their upcoming album called Crawling Backwards Out of Heaven. It's probably the hardest song from this new album. It's really good. And then Michael the other week kind of told me 21 Pilots had a new single out
Oh, I saw that.
called Overcompensate. It was really good.
It's good.
I've been listening to it ever since he recommended it.
Their album
So
comes out
about
in
2
May, I
weeks
think.
now.
May?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then last, so little story. Randomly, I was just like on YouTube looking for music, and then you guys know Alien Ant Farm, the guys that did the cover of Smooth Criminal. I thought they were like gone, like retired. They had a new single out called Fade. It's not bad. It's pretty good. But I was like, what the heck? Like this is the most random recommendation I've ever seen in my life. And it's like the most random band to like come back. I was like, what?
What's going on?
And then so real fast tangent. The drummer of that band looks like the actor who played. Do you guys remember Cellier?
Mhm.
The
Mhm,
one with Chris Evans?
mhm.
You know the lawyer dude in that movie? He has like the Corvette or the convertible, and he's like, "Give me your car. I need to save this woman." He's like,
Oh,
"F
yeah.
you, dude." That actor looks exactly like their drummer. I thought for years it was the same guy, and it's not. But I thought for years, dude. I was like, "That's the same dude."
That's him.
You were in cellular. I know it. You can't fool me.
And then like the other week or the other month, I looked it up, and I was like, "What? It's not him." But that's all I did.
All right, let me pull up my stuff here. I don't have much at all. Did Hot Ones, 2 more videos. I did the Josh Brolin one, which he's an enigma, Josh Brolin, that man. Because he's always surprisingly, I didn't realize how well read he was, because he was always well spoken. Like his vocabulary was really good, but apparently I guess he grew up on a farm and that's all he did was read. He would just read all the freaking time.
Cursed with knowledge.
There you go. But then he's also such a farm like hick country boy, and he just also acts like a doofus. And like the whole time he's on there with Sean Evans, and he's just it seems like all his thought process is how can I disrupt and make jokes this entire time? And it's just what he did the whole time, was just try and make jokes and disrupt it. And he's like, sorry, what were you like? He just cut off Sean every time he started making a question. I'm like, calm down. He just seems like I don't know. He's a loose cannon.
Also,
Josh
a
Brolin.
skateboarder.
Really? I did not know that. He's a cool guy though, but it's just interesting. One of those people that I'm not sure how much I want to know about him, but he's very interesting. Because I feel like it'd be just too much, you know? You're like,
He's one of those guys that
do too much.
He's one of those guys I don't think I'd get along with if we met, or like I don't think I want to meet him, but I enjoy him.
Yeah, I agree. And then the other one I watched was Austin Butler's Hot Ones, because I'm like, he's one of those people like Keoghan, Barry Keoghan from last time. I'm like, I have an idea of you, and I don't think it's right. And I was 100% correct. He's not at all what I thought he was gonna be. He was super like gracious and kind and so like excited to be there. And he just, seems like that the guy you want to hate because he's too handsome and too cool, but he's just like way too nice and like appreciative of Sean and everything, and just had very cool stories and what he's talking about. And
He's
just
over there licking a
getting into
knife,
everything.
challenging Sean.
So it's very surprising, very enjoyable. That how this so both of them literally had the exact same response to go through. Like, this is the best interview we've ever been a part of, and everyone always says these are the best questions anyone has ever.
Yeah. The best part of Hot Ones, or the things I always look out for, is what type of wings they order. Because some people get like the vegan option, and I'm like, get off the show. And then the drink, because some people take chocolate milk, some people take.
I've never seen chocolate milk.
beer.
I would do chocolate milk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Milk
so at the
kills
end of
me right
Austin
away.
Butler, so his comfort, they talk about comfort food, and so he talked about PBJs was his thing. He's like, anytime I want to, if I'm on set and I have a PBJ, it's just my comfort food. So they literally brought out stuff, and he made Sean Evans a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the end of the show.
They just threw an Uncrustable at his face.
And they were like, and after they finished, they're like, peanut butter might be the thing for hot stuff. Like they're like, it felt like it just nullified everything. So that might be the trick to it. But what I look for in Hot Ones is how do they eat the wings? I know some people are going to be like, oh, they just took one bite.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll say Josh Brolin ate the whole wing. He licked every bit of the bone, and I was like,
One of my
my-
favorites
Good
is
man.
Tenacious D, because they're
Yeah, Tenacious D. Well, because
The
Jack
peel.
Black's like, oh, I don't want this, and like Kyle Glass is like, these are free, man. Like, and he like takes Jack Black's wings. And he's like eating them.
That's good. Then we're gonna jump into Music Land because Jared brought that up. I had an album on here, but I'm also gonna mention that Kings of Leon put out a new single, and their new album is
I
coming
saw
out
that.
in a couple months.
They're still around.
Oh yeah, they had their last album I listened to, and it was one of the ones that I'm like, it's not bad, but it all kind of sounds samey. The album before that I thought was amazing, but this new one, it sounds very different. It's very interesting. So I'm interested to see more. It's called Mustang. The single is so interesting. And then the other album I wanted to talk about was it came out last Friday, not 2 days ago, but the Friday before last. There's this guy called Livingston. He's a solo artist that I started following a while back, and I was like, I didn't realize he's really popular. He's apparently really popular, but just few songs. It's very much my kind of music. It's kind of like a solo guy singing with usually piano or something along with it. But a lot of his older, he had 2 other albums, and I don't know if they were like a part of something else, something like that, because he kind of calls this new one his debut album. So I don't know if they were a part of. I don't know, but a lot
Is
of
this
it,
the guy you mentioned to Johnny that one time? And he's like, that's not
I doubt it. 'cause
really my style.
I really found this guy very recently, like within the past
Oh, okay.
week or two.
Okay.
Because I found him, and it was one of those happy moments where I'm like, I like your voice, I like your style, but I don't like he does a lot of like pop culture references in his singing. It's like the stuff like Superman, like, referencing things to Superman, like being the strong man, but he says Superman. I'm like, that takes me out of the music. I don't like that at all. Or like he says Hercules at one point, like talking about being the hero and like being the strong, just using those kind of that verbiage that just draws me out of the music. I like to dive into music and I don't like it to be set in a time or in a certain space. I like to be very ethereal or like, not using anything.
Not pop culture.
Concrete.
Is this a hip hop artist, or is this?
No, that's what Ben brought that up. And I was like, I don't mind when hip hop artists do it, because it's kind of just the thing that hip hop people do. They talk about current things or what's going on. But no, it's very much like think of, I told Ben, I was like, it's like Louis Capaldi. So it's like, you could tell this was probably a theater kid. So it's very kind of, I don't know, he could definitely do some sort of like
Bombastic.
opera acting. Yeah, big and loud, but strong. But like sprinkling, like you're not gonna like this year, but sprinkling a little bit of Imagine Dragons in like a strange, but it didn't sound like Imagine Dragons. It's just like a strange kind of vibe I get. But it's definitely my music. I doubt any of you would like it. Thomas might like it with the kind of like theatrical kind of take he brings to it, I think. But it is definitely more of like a modern take on. So anyway, so it was one of those happy accents where I found the music. I was like, I like your style and your voice, but it's not really what I want. And then find out that the week after I find this artist, he has an album dropping, and it's like, I love it. I love it. Back front, I'm nonstop listening to it. And then it comes out, and the trailer for it has J.K. Simmons, speaking of which earlier, he does the intro and the outro voiceover for the album. And I don't know why.
Why?
No. J.K. Simmons, even though he's an Academy Award-winning actor, he still does anything.
It was so weird.
The State Farm commercial.
He was in Baldur's Gate. He played a major character in Baldur's Gate. And I was just like, you're kidding. Like, Academy Award winner, like J.K. Simmons was in a video game after he won? So
He's the yellow M&M.
Yeah, he's true. It was very weird though. But yeah, so it's a
It's Omni-Man.
voiceover, intro and outro of the album. Love the album though. Very much my style. Be interested to see what you guys think, but I doubt.
what was it called again?
It's his name's called Livingston. The album is called.
Clyde Livingston.
It's called A Hometown Odyssey. Very much my kind of like. It feels a little unique, and his voice is very strong. But anyway, so
You just like him because he's a ginger.
he's kind of a
He
ginger.
has brown hair.
It's a little brownish, but anyway, so I like that album a lot. And then moving on, we're going to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2 for a few seconds because
It's not even out.
That's next week.
Next week.
But
Did you create a character?
I created a character because they did a really cool thing where they released the character creator early
It's
because
a good idea.
it's very
That's a good
robust
idea.
and I love it. And people were creating crazy cool things with it. So I made one
I saw
character. I still need to
A
make my pawn though.
Pikachu.
You saw a Pikachu? I've seen a lot of weird things. I'm like, but it's like it's crazy. Like you can all the way down to each individual tooth. You can either delete it or add it. It's like why?
Wow.
I don't know. But you can literally change how many teeth you have. That's how robust it is. I
I
love it.
lost my wisdom.
It's like the same with like that's what I love about the first one so much is it had such a good character creator for 13 years ago, and like now it's like even better. I'm like yes. Because like speaking of Baldur's Gate, I went to Baldur's Gate 3 and I was like, this character creator sucks. It's so limited. There's like 5 hairstyles and a few things. Like what is anyway? So
the Starfield
I had to bring
one.
up Dragon's Dogma because I'm losing my mind. I watched the video with Ian. What's his face that I put in the thingy? Ian. Game stuff. Ian McShane, as I know from Hot Rod fame, or he was in a lot of other stuff. But anyway, the actor with the cool voice. He's
American
from
Gods. He's Kung Fu Panda.
yeah. What's the
Pirates?
John Wick. He's in Pirates. but
Oh,
also
John Wick. Yeah.
Anyway, so he did the
Winston.
video of that, and it's like an intro to Dragon's Dogma, and you guys should watch it. It's really cool, and I'm very, very excited. I can't freaking wait. Anyway, Thursday at 11
We've
o'clock.
noticed.
You know where I will be. Then the last thing I did was, we got to talk about. Got to upset Jared for a second because we've been going through Hunter x Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Because for some reason, Solo Leveling, they just stopped doing dub episodes. There's no dub episodes. I've checked the past 2
Yeah.
weeks, and I'm very sad.
sad.
And I'm like, I want more of that show. It's amazing. So I went back to Hunter x Hunter because I was like, I never finished the show. I love that show. Show's great. And I just didn't have a place to watch it. Went back to the bug arc. I'm like, it kind of made fun because it's bugs. And I don't really like bugs, but it's not that bad. And I was very much enjoying it. Got like, I'm literally probably 40 episodes on to the point of where I started this back on again. And it got to the siege on the king's palace. And I don't know what happened. It literally starts the episode and it goes into they're all running through the door, but it's really silent and he's holding the clock and it's like, all right, but now we're going to do behind the scenes of what happened with all this stuff and where everyone is. So I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And then the narrator keeps talking throughout the entire episode. And he's like explaining everything and the reasonings of why this man put his left foot first rather than his right foot first. It's just super over explained. And like I told them in the chat, I was like, literally Knuckle, who is they're fighting this guy with a bunch of arms and eyeballs, is talking about how it's only been 10 seconds because he has this power that accrues interest. And
I remember that.
they're trying to take all of his power away because of this ability. And he's like, it's only been 10 seconds. I was like, it's literally been like 10 episodes and nothing has happened. It's like the pace of the show just went like from not great because it's a long form anime. You're getting like a lot of backstories and weird characters and stuff, but it just went like to a dead halt for 10 episodes and nothing happened. They were fighting the same guy in the same room for 10 episodes. Finally things are happening. Killua went like Super Saiyan Electricity Boy and shocked the man. For some reason, he's super powerful and he can kick his butt now. No one else could. But I like what they're doing with the smoke guy. I like his character a lot. He's cool. Don't remember his name. With a pipe.
Oh,
He makes smoke mimics. And so Knuckle was running around. There were a bunch of Knuckles. And he's like, oh, there's a copy somewhere. But then he was like, oh, there's not an original. But then there was. And he punched him. He got more interest. And he booked his butt out of there. And the last thing that happened was, Gon is sitting in front of Cat Lady that says meow too much. And she's healing the poor little girl that played Goji because she got hit by the lightning strike from the old man. And then the butterfly shower poof walks in and he's like,
I'm completely lost at this point. Like, what the hell's going
I'm
on?
just watching Thomas's face for this. And so Shower Poof walks in. He was a bunch of little butterflies, but now he's one big butterfly, Thomas. And he walks in and he's like, going, why? And he's like, why isn't the boy punching the cat who's healing the girl? Because the king left and he's Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Seriously, what the hell? Am I dreaming right now?
Not a fan of Poof. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of like him. I don't know. He's like that weird, like too proper character, and you know he's gonna get his butt handed to him at some point. But I like his little mind game with the pipe man. If he's like, oh, was I in the cage or not? Oh, I was in the cage, but I pretended I wasn't. But I was tiny.
Who the hell is the pipe man?
The pipe man has sunglasses and he's real cool.
You know the big buff dude of the generals of the ants?
The big red one?
It's like yeah.
Yumi?
Fun fact about him: the guy who dubs his voice is on a channel I watch on YouTube. Oni Plays. He's on there, and he voiced him. I was like, oh, that's
he
cool.
has a good voice, very good voice. But yeah, so I was just like baffled by. It's like you get two episodes of really pointlessness, like the octopus in a basement with a crab man with guns, and the crab man goes down.
That's a good episode.
It's so pointless. So the crab man's trying to get up, Thomas, but the octopus can take over corpses and become them. So he traps the crab man to where the crab man passes out with sleeping gas because he drove a tank in front of the elevator, Thomas, and he blocked the elevator, and he can't shoot through the elevator or the tank because it's too strong.
Okay, did I stroke out or did you stroke out?
So he powered up.
Somebody has stroke out.
He powered up.
I've seen the show and I can't remember what the heck he's talking about.
He powered the sleeping gas, Thomas, but he's sitting there with his little. He's not an octopus. He's a squid. He goes up with his little legs, and he's like. He forms his octopus arm, squid arm, into a gun, and then his finger into a bullet. He pulls the bullet off and puts it in his octopus arm gun, and he points it at the crab, and he's like, "Can I kill a man? But isn't a man is a crab? Do I have the strength? I'm a coward." And he ran away.
They're the same species. It would be like killing a man. Michael, come on.
Like they were men, Thomas, but then they got turned into bugs. But they're not bugs anymore. They're like animals.
I've always been curious about Hunter x Hunter. But now I'm not
to
curious.
The ant arc. It's amazing, but now I'm just
what the hell is the ant arc?
It's the ant arc.
They're chimera ants.
Chimera bugs
from a far off land, and they're super strong.
And
it's like Frieza.
And they're turning people into
butterflies.
Yeah, and then Cell's here, and he's just playing board games with a little girl. He's playing chess. He kicked their butt. He played checkers, I think. Then he played Mahjong.
That's the last one.
His Goji is what he's playing, or whatever it's called. And so this little girl's really good at it, and they played for a while, but then she got hit by a lightning bolt by an old man. Zeus came down. She's bleeding on the floor, Thomas. But she also needs to blow her nose. It's really runny. She's stupid. But she's really good at the board game.
And I'm sorry, but the people defend this show.
Jared loves it, man.
It's true.
Anything before this arc is amazing.
This is a good arc, though. There's a lot of.
I will say, I went on IMDb because we had this argument in the anime chat. I'm like, because Jared and Johnny are like, no, it's good, and I'm like,
I had to mute the chat because my phone was like,
I was like, I want to blow my brains out right now, and I went on IMDb and it has amazing reviews. All these episodes, I'm like, how? I was so baffled by the quality. Like I said before, I was enjoying it. I was like, this is anime. We're going through it. And I just hit those episodes and I was like, this is so drawn out and ridiculous. It's
one of the longest arcs. So
but it was just over explaining literally everything.
You would hate JoJo.
Or, oh my gosh, it was killing me.
I do remember the 10-second thing.
What? Dude, yeah. So I had to complain about that. I'm working through it. Like I said, Gon's still waiting for the cat lady to heal the girl, and he's gonna kick her butt because he hurt his friend Kite, who's now lost his mind. He has scars everywhere. He's like Joker. And then Butterfly Man walked up by him, so I don't know who's gonna fight there. And then we haven't seen the king in a while. He went with the old man, but then the other old man's brother left because he went pew, and he's gone. So we don't.
Turns out Michael just made all of that up and is just happing with me.
We don't know where everyone else is. This is an anime I'm working on, Thomas. I'm gonna write it. No, just kidding. That's all I did, I believe. But that went longer than I was supposed to.
That was a lot. That was a lot to do, right?
Yeah,
there.
I saw your eyes glaze over, and I was like, I'm targeting you now.
I'm sorry, but it was like, oh, octopus. What?
The heck?
What did you do, Joseph?
So we got to see this.
What is this?
Eventually.
You did so we don't get hit.
I got hit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Thrashing official trailer? What the?
So this is Josh Brolin's like second ever movie.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
The radical trips.
That's a ram calls.
Yeah, I think so. He's got that classic
Oh.
pink skateboard.
I should have brought up that I played Sessions. This like,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, that is the hardest game I've ever played in my life. So, Jared, you played? Had you played Skate, Thomas?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know how Skate is like it's all on the right stick. So back forward is an ollie. So it's just like the idea of the board. They take the left and right feet and split them between the sticks.
Oh my god.
So you have to like
Wait, so like alternate, like
So like your left foot is on the left stick, or I guess if you're goofy, the right foot's on the left stick, and then the left foot is on the right stick. But so that completely
How do you
jacks
turn?
up. Exactly. You can turn if you aren't in an ollie position, but if you get in an ollie position, you're going into kickflip and stuff. So you have to turn with the triggers. It is beyond confusing. This just turned into a porno.
I say, why are we watching porn now?
This was a trailer? My god.
Dude, I was trying so hard to just do basic tricks in this game. It is. I want to look up videos of people actually playing this impressively because it was so hard.
I'm wondering if they did that so you can manipulate each foot individually, but turning turning would be hard.
That's what's hard.
Though,
and then I looked up.
You would have to like.
The settings
both
get so in depth with this game of like difficulties of how much you have to do this foot and this thing and all like it. I was like, these are way too many settings. You have to like need a manual and a book just to know what you're looking at here. It was insane. But yeah, that game is really hard. I don't know what I'm watching.
I think they're showing the whole movie.
We're watching the Extreme Goofy movie.
This just looks like Warriors on wheels.
It's like Brink on skateboard.
Look at the little turn
Look
though.
at that.
Wow.
This is Brink on skateboarding. We should review this movie. Oh man. I think his name Alan Sucks.
Sax.
Oh, that's like Alan Sucks production. That's unfortunate.
There you go, a young Josh Brolin
Goodness me.
skateboarding for his life.
What a roller coaster.
Well, is that going to do it for this bonus stuff? Anyone got any last words?
I can't think of anything else weird that I did.
Don't trust the federal government, kids. There you go.
They're after you.
They're after Thomas. They break into
if they were going to be after somebody, it would be me.
All right,
Joseph wants those monoliths.
That's true.
They
know. He knows too much. The monolith like peeks out like right there.
Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff, and we will see you next time. Bye.